Hi, it's good to see you back on the Gabster channel. I got a really special episode here about something I don't really usually talk about, things like vibration absorbers. We're talking about the little feet that you put under your speakers to absorb vibrations and dampening and so forth. And I have to say right away that I am the type who will be very skeptical. I'm very skeptical about things like that. Not that I don't believe, don't take me wrong. It's just sometimes the media make it sound like the differences are, night and day, it's transformed and blah, blah, blah. And I just wanted to see for myself. My speakers has been on some little wooden pucks for a long time, and with some basically sorbacane underneath, so they have some sort of dampening, but nothing earth-shattering here, and not really highly engineered. And even though I do like and love my speakers, but I was contacted by Stack Audio about the Auva line of absorbers. I said, yes, I'll gladly check it out, but said, I am skeptic, so just bear in mind I will say what I say. So I decided to try them on and see how they found. So let's start with the main thing right away, skip all the nonsense, and let's talk about, did the sound change? Because this is, after all, what everybody's going to be looking at. So let's start with that. So right off the bat, I saw a very significant change. Not earth-shattering, but a significant change, mainly in the bass, in the low frequencies. And also a change in the, if I could say, just the tonality of the speakers. And it just sounded a little bit more real, if I could say. But definitely the bass. You could feel there's more punch and more depth and more control, if I could say. I was actually surprised because I was like, you're going to put these things, I might feel a tiny bit of a difference, but I was actually surprised to see that much difference. I was like, wow. Because like I said, I am skeptical about those things. So there is definitely something with it, and I can see the the science behind it. I mean, these are not small things; these are massive. They're about basically you're attaching like 10 pounds on the bottom of your speakers. I opted. They come in actually. Just to backtrack here a little bit, so they come in different sizes. There's the Auva 50. Auva 70 and 100, and they slightly each is bigger than the other. I put the prices in the corner. These are actually made in the UK. These are not your cheap gizmos that you buy here and there. They're very, very high quality. The Auva 100s came with two massive, big wooden boxes. They were quite heavy. And when you open the box, you realize why. These are about 10 pounds, 2.2 pounds each, so like roughly 1 kilogram each. And they're quite, when you hold them, you can definitely feel the quality in these. Now I start realizing why these are so special. And they do come with the spikes, and they come with the screws that you basically you pick which type of threads you want to fit your speakers. So it comes everything that you need. You got 8 pucks. There's 4 in this box and 4 in this box here. So when you add them both, that makes it quite a substantial box to ship. So the way it works is you thread, and this part goes into your speaker, or you can do it the other way around, threads into your speaker and then put the parts, which might make more sense. And on the other side here, you got basically a nice felt pad if you're putting them on hardwood floors, and that's what I found. It allows you to still move your speakers. And if you are on carpet, you can actually put spikes. You can put 3 spikes in each one of those. So let's go back to the sound again one more time. So The differences, like I said, are significant. You're gonna hear definitely a tightening in the bass. This is like, you cannot ignore it. It's gonna smack you right in the face. You're gonna hear it. And not in a bad way. It's not like they became boomy or anything. No, it was a bit more controlled, more depth, and more bass. And so, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. But it did spread throughout the whole tonality of the speakers to a point where I started, you know, on my speakers, I can actually control the mid-range and the tweeters. And so, oh, would it sound better this way or that way? But there was some small change in the tonality in a good way. It sounded a little more real and more, I wouldn't say clear, but it just had something in it that you kind of definitely feel. So that goes to tell you that don't always be skeptic about things, but you know, some things do work. There is a lot of engineering behind those things, and the way the Auva work on is more dampening, a slight decoupling, but also mostly dampening. And it's more like a sand. You know, it's like you throw a big heavy metal ball in the sand and it just stops it right there in a nice controlled way. And that's how you want to think about it. They've got a lot of engineering behind those little pucks, if you can call them that way. And they're definitely works in one way or another. I'm actually gonna plan to leave them on my speakers. Often, sometimes I get products that, you know, I like them, but you know, then you move on. But I think these are gonna be staying on my speakers. You also think about it, you're adding, if you have especially a long tower, and you have your speaker vibrating on top, that thing, I wouldn't say leaning, but it can move back and forth a little bit. In a microscopic way, of course. So having, you know, some big heavy things attached to the bottom, dragging it to the ground, makes it a lot less prone to vibration, and sound becomes much cleaner, because the more you vibrate other things, whether it's in your floor, on the wall, the more you're going to smear the sound. And if you can control all these vibrations, you're going to get a much better clean sound. On my speakers, they're roughly close to 300 pounds each. I opted for the 100. But I think it might be slightly an overkill. I think the 70 would be a sweet spot if you want. It's also quite a bit cheaper. Now, bear in mind, these are not things you're going to attach to a $500 speaker. So, you know, you're not going to put $1,000 feet absorbers on a $500 speaker. So you got to have a decent speaker to justify spending that kind of money to dampen it. So if you have a small, cheap speaker, you might as well just forget about them and just go buy yourself a more expensive speaker with that money. If you have good speakers and you don't mind spending a little bit more to make them even better, this will probably be the product for you. So Stack Audio, the company that makes them, also makes some system absorbers as well. These are feet you put underneath your components, like your preamplifier, amplifier, your DAC, and stuff like that. And they also seem to be very effective. But I'm going to make another video specifically geared for those. So keep an eye on that video when it comes out. Most speakers have already some sort of feet, so you can adapt those Auva absorbers to your speakers, and Stack Audio will actually give you the right thread component that will fit your particular speakers. But let's say you don't have any, let's say you have a DIY speaker or a vintage speaker or a speaker that doesn't have existing feet, you can easily drill some little holes in the bottom of your speakers and adapt the Stack Audio Auva to your speakers. I'll quickly show you how on my speakers, because they are DIY, I basically drilled in the back, on the back portion, I drilled a couple holes, used a little caliper and measured exactly what it is. Also, I used a special block that makes you drill in a straight right angle. You don't have your absorber on a bad angle. You can get those from your local hardware store. If you want a quick link from Amazon, I'll put a link in the description below. And for the front, my speakers are extremely unique. I don't think there's anybody that designed them like that. They have two 15-degree angled feet, and so I had to devise on my lathe a special little adapter for them, and I screwed it on the bottom, and I was able to bend them in a way so they can actually lock onto the front feet of my speakers, and they're properly and solidly anchored. I'm going to put a link in the corner here about how I built those speakers. These are DIY speakers, and you get an idea about all the process that went behind them. And in this corner here, I'm going to put a link about music that's very well recorded that you can listen to on your system and really showcase your system. So there'll be a little speaker in the middle if you feel like subscribing and helping my channel. And I hope to see you again in another video. So take care.